Welcome to Girls Approach TV. This isn't your grandma's dating advice. This is the battleground where emotional boys are forged into calculated men. We expose the brutal truths about female psychology, dating manipulation, red pill reality, and masculine dominance. No simping. No softness. No compromise. Just raw, unfiltered content to help you lead, conquer, and never chase again. Today, we're diving deep into topic number 1, the female dating playbook, decoding her secret signals. Ever feel like women speak a different language? Like there are unspoken rules you're constantly breaking, but no one ever tells you what they are. You're not wrong. Women operate from a distinct playbook, a collection of subtle cues, hidden tests, and psychological triggers designed to sift out the weak from the strong. And if you don't understand it, you'll always be playing defense, reacting to her moves, instead of dictating your own. For too long, men have been sold a lie, that dating is about being nice, about being agreeable, about hoping she chooses you. That's a myth perpetuated by those who want you to stay exactly where you are, emotional, uncertain, and easily led. This isn't about being a mind reader, it's about understanding the fundamental mechanics of female attraction. It's about seeing beyond the words she says and interpreting the signals she sends. In this video, we're going to pull back the curtain on her subtle tactics. We'll reveal the convenience test, how she subtly gauges your availability and willingness to bend to her schedule. And how to pass it without being a doormat. The interest ping, those seemingly innocent texts or glances that are actually probes to see if you're still orbiting her. The push-pull dynamic, her unconscious way of creating attraction by occasionally pulling away to see if you'll chase. Hint, don't chase. The vulnerability trap, how she uses emotional sharing to test your strength, not to build intimacy in the way you might think. Alright, let's jump straight into the first subtle tactic in her playbook, the convenience test. This isn't always a conscious, malicious act on her part, but it's a fundamental filter women use to quickly assess a man's value, his priorities, and crucially, his boundaries. Here's how it plays out. She'll text you with an invitation or a request that's usually last minute, slightly inconvenient, or vague. The emotional boy, desperate for her attention, will see this as an opportunity. He'll drop everything, cancel his plans, and reply instantly with an overly enthusiastic yes. What time? Where are you? I'll be there. He thinks he's being accommodating, eager, and showing interest. He thinks he's winning points. Accommodating boyfriend think he's winning points, but what he's actually doing is failing the test. He's signaling low value, lack of boundaries, desperation. A calculated man understands this isn't an immediate invitation, it's a probe. It's a test of his structure, his self-respect, and his non-negotiable value. His response isn't about rejection, it's about reframing the dynamic and elevating his perceived value. So, how do you pass the convenience test? Don't respond immediately. Acknowledge, but don't commit. State your own commitments. Propose an alternative. This isn't about playing games, it's about demonstrating value. It shows you have options, you respect your own time, and you're not desperate for her attention. When you pass the convenience test, you flip the script. You communicate that your time is valuable, and if she wants it, she needs to respect that. She's not looking for a puppy who's always available at her beck and call. She's looking for a man who is deliberate, who has a purpose, and whose attention must be earned. Pass this test, and you've already established a crucial piece of masculine dominance. Fail it, and you're just another emotional boy she can call whenever her main plans fall through. Alright, calculated men, let's dissect her second subtle tactic, the interest ping. After you've successfully navigated, or even better, passed, the convenience test, she's going to need to re-gauge your level of interest. She needs to know if she still has you orbiting, if you're still thinking about her, or if you've moved on to higher value pursuits. The interest ping is her subtle way of checking your pulse without overtly admitting she's interested or chasing you. It's designed to be low effort for her, but high leverage in terms of information gathering. She's not asking you out directly, she's dropping a small, almost insignificant breadcrumb to see if you'll pounce. The emotional boy falls for this every time. He sees, hey, and immediately thinks, she's thinking about me. This is my chance. He'll launch into a detailed explanation of his day, ask her 5 follow-up questions, or try to pivot it into an immediate plan. He's over-investing, showing his hand, and signaling that her minimal effort is enough to get a full, eager response. He's failing the test. What he's actually communicating is high availability, low self-amusement, validation-seeking, chasing behavior. The calculated man, however, recognizes the interest ping for exactly what it is, a low-effort bid for his attention. He understands that minimal effort from her should be met with minimal, or slightly more, effort from him, not an overreaction. His goal isn't to immediately escalate or prove his interest, it's to confirm his value and maintain control of the interaction's pace. Here's how a calculated man responds to the interest ping: match her energy. Make her qualify her interest. Use the yes/no or one-word test. Pivot to a call to action. The key here is not to mistake a ping for genuine interest, but rather for a test of your interest and availability. By responding with measured confidence, making her qualify her intentions, and refusing to overinvest, you communicate that you're a man of purpose, not easily swayed by minimal effort. You're not desperate for her validation. You're teaching her that if she wants your time and attention, she needs to put in the effort to earn it. This builds respect and attraction. Fail this test, and you're just another reliable source of validation, always on standby. Alright, calculated men, let's unveil the third, and perhaps most potent, subtle tactic in her playbook, the push-pull dynamic. This isn't about conscious manipulation in every instance, it's often an intuitive dance women perform to create and maintain attraction. It's a fundamental mechanism of human connection, amplified in dating, and if you don't understand it, you'll constantly feel off balance and chasing. The push-pull dynamic is exactly what it sounds like, a deliberate, or often subconscious, alternation between showing interest, the pull, and withdrawing attention or creating distance, the push. The purpose? To create emotional tension, uncertainty, and ultimately, to make you invest more in re-establishing connection. It's about keeping you on your toes, keeping you slightly hungry for her attention. The emotional boy, driven by anxiety and a fear of loss, interprets the push as a sign that he's doing something wrong, that she's losing interest, or that he needs to do more to win her back. He'll double down, he'll send multiple follow-up texts, demanding an explanation. He'll try to initiate more contact. He'll become overly apologetic. He'll start chasing her, trying to close the gap she just created. This is precisely the wrong response. By chasing, he confirms her hypothesis, that he's easily activated, that he's desperate for her attention, and that she has control over his emotional state. He fails the test, and in doing so, he often kills the very attraction she was trying to stimulate. His frantic chasing signals low value, insecurity, and a lack of self-possession. The calculated man, however, recognizes the push for what it is, an opportunity. It's her creating space, waiting to see if he'll break his frame and pursue. He understands that when she pulls away, the correct response is often to lean back, create your own space, and make her feel your absence. Here's how a calculated man masters the push-pull dynamic. Embrace the space, the counter-push. Maintain your frame. When she pushes, make her reinitiate. When she pulls again, keep your response measured. By understanding and counter-leveraging the push-pull, you transform from a passive participant into an active controller of the dynamic. You communicate immense value, self-possession, and emotional strength. You demonstrate that you cannot be taken for granted, and that your attention is a privilege, not a right. This creates attraction because it signals that you are a challenge, a man with options, and a man who respects himself enough not to chase. You make her chase you by letting her feel the gap she created. Alright, calculated men, let's expose the fourth subtle tactic in her playbook, the vulnerability trap. This is one of the trickiest, because it taps into a man's natural instinct to protect, to fix, and to connect deeply. It feels like intimacy, but it often serves a different, more strategic purpose for her, especially early on. The vulnerability trap occurs when a woman shares something seemingly personal, emotional, or problematic early in the interaction. It could be about a past trauma, a family issue, a career struggle, or even just a bad day she's having. On the surface, it seems like she's trusting you, opening up, and inviting deeper connection. The emotional boy sees this as his moment to shine. He thinks, finally, she's letting her guard down. I need to be her hero. I need to fix this. He'll respond with, over-the-top sympathy. Immediate problem-solving. Declarations of undying support. Emotional overinvestment. Physical touch, too early. While seemingly noble, this response is a profound failure of the trap. He's signaling, therapist/white knight value, emotional overinvestment, lack of emotional control, desperation to connect. The calculated man understands that early vulnerability, while sometimes genuine, is also a profound test. It's not about whether you can solve her problems, it's about whether you can maintain your masculine frame when faced with emotional turbulence. She's testing your strength, your leadership, and your ability to remain unswayed by her emotional state. She wants to see if you can be her rock, not her fellow victim. Here's how a calculated man masters the vulnerability trap: acknowledge, validate. But don't overinvest. Focus on action, not emotion. Inject playfulness/humor. Never overcomfort physically. By calmly acknowledging her vulnerability without becoming her therapist or emotional punching bag, you communicate profound strength and emotional stability. You show her you're a man who can handle emotional depth, but who won't be easily swayed or manipulated by it. You are her leader, her source of positive energy and direction, not her emotional crutch. She's not looking for another girlfriend or a therapist, she's looking for a man who can elevate her emotional state, not sink into it with her. Pass this test, and you solidify your position as a powerful, attractive masculine presence. Fail it, and you're relegated to the friend zone, forever her confidant, never her lover. If you've followed this video so far, it's obvious you're a strong person. You're a man who has refused to submit to weakness. A man who will make his ancestors proud. If you like this video, follow for more videos like this. For deeper insight into the female playbook, follow the link in the description of this video to get a copy. This is warfare. This is girl's approach. Step up or step aside. It's time to decode her playbook and write your own rules for victory. Next, we'll dive into the alpha mindset, how to command respect and desire. Stay calculated.